4:17, Moscow time. The Kremlin stands silent under a moonless sky. Streetlights cast long shadows across Red Square. Security patrols move in rehearsed patterns. Radar stations hum with routine confidence. Everything appears normal. 800 kilometers southwest, in the forests of western Ukraine, electric motors were to life. 43 drones lift off in staggered intervals. No pyrotechnic thrust. No sonic boom. Just the soft whoosh of composite rotors slicing cold air. They climb to 50 meters, then drop to 15 meters above ground level. Terrain following algorithms activate. Each unit knows its route, its target, its backup plan. This is not a raid. This is recalibration. Ukrainian commanders watch telemetry streams in underground command posts, tracking green blips crawling across digital maps. Flight time, 97 minutes. Interception probability, unknown. Success threshold, 20% penetration. Acceptable losses, total. The drones carry no pilots. No ejection seats. No fear. They are disposable logic, built for $11,000 each, loaded with 12 kilograms of directed explosive, and programmed to survive one thing only, the final 400 meters. Moscow's air defense network cost $9 billion to install. It tracks objects moving faster than 200 kilometers per hour at altitudes above 50 meters. It expects cruise missiles. Ballistic arcs. High-value platforms worth intercepting. It does not expect this. The drones hug riverbeds. They follow highway contours. They fly beneath the radar horizon, inside the acoustic shadow of urban noise. Every second, they close the distance. Every second, the defenders remain blind. 4:29, first waypoint achieved. 0 interceptions. The swarm continues. The Kremlin still believes it is safe. Inside the Central Command bunker, 40 meters beneath Moscow, operators sit before glowing tactical displays. The room smells of recirculated air and burned coffee. Shift rotations happen every 6 hours. Alerts are rare. Threats are theoretical. Colonel Dmitry Volkov oversees Moscow's integrated air defense umbrella, 8 S-400 batteries, 12 Pantsir-S1 short-range systems, and a web of electronic warfare domes capable of jamming GPS, radio, and satellite links within a 40-kilometer radius. Nothing gets within 50 kilometers, he says. Not without us knowing. The S-400 systems form the outer ring, positioned 60 to 80 kilometers from the Kremlin. Each battery carries 16 missiles with a maximum engagement range of 250 kilometers. They can track 300 targets simultaneously and engage 36 at once. Closer in, the Pantsir-S1 units provide point defense. Each system carries 12 surface-to-air missiles and two 30mm autocannons capable of firing 5,000 rounds per minute. Reload time, 8 to 12 minutes after magazine depletion. The system is layered. It is redundant. It is expensive. And it is designed for last year's war. Volkov sips his coffee. His screens show nothing. No blips. No warnings. No anomalies. The air above Moscow is empty, as it has been every night for 19 months. Sir, a technician says. Routine sweep complete. All sectors green. Volkov nods. Maintain interval. Next check in 12 minutes. 4:34. The technician does not know that 43 drones are now 280 kilometers away, skimming treetops at 110 kilometers per hour, below the minimum detection threshold of every system he monitors. The fortress is real. But the threat is invisible. Modern air defense operates on a simple principle: intercept before impact. But interception is not free. It is a transaction. And like all transactions, it has a cost. Each S-400 missile costs $3 million. Each Pantsir interceptor costs $60,000. Fire enough rounds, and you bankrupt your magazine before the enemy loses a single asset. Ukrainian engineers understand this. They designed the operation around cost asymmetry. Of the 43 drones inbound, 28 are decoys. They carry no warhead. Just a radar reflector, a thermal signature generator, and a flight computer. Cost per unit, $500. The remaining 15 drones carry live payloads. Cost per unit, $11,000. Total investment, $179,000. Now consider the math from Moscow's perspective. If radar systems detect 43 inbound targets, defenders must treat all of them as lethal. They cannot afford to guess. Protocol demands immediate engagement. Each Pantsir-S1 carries 12 missiles. Reload time, 8 to 12 minutes. If the system fires all 12 missiles, it goes silent for the next 600 seconds. There are 12 Pantsir batteries defending Moscow. That's 144 interceptors ready to fire. Against 43 targets, the math looks favorable. But the drones do not arrive simultaneously. They arrive in 3 waves, 16, then 12, then 15. The first wave forces full magazine expenditure. The second wave arrives during reload. The third wave hits exposed gaps. This is not tactics. This is physics. Volkov systems are designed to win. But they are configured to lose against an adversary who understands reload cycles and saturation thresholds. For 38, distance to target, 190 kilometers. The logic trap is already sprung. For 41, outer defense ring, relay station 7. The first blip appears on radar. Then 3 more. Then 9. Contact, a technician shouts. Multiple low-altitude bogies, Sector 4, bearing 270, speed 110 clicks. Volkov straightens. Classification: unknown. Thermal signature consistent with small UAVs. No IFF response. Pantsir batteries 3 and 5, engage immediately. The closest Pantsir-S1 system pivots. Targeting radar locks onto the nearest drone. A missile screams from its tube, trailing white exhaust. Then another. Then 4 more. 3 drones explode mid-air, ripped apart by proximity-fused warheads. Debris tumbles into frozen fields. But the 4th drone does not explode. It dives. It drops from 50 meters to 8 meters in 3 seconds, vanishing beneath the Pantsir's minimum engagement angle. Impact. The drone slams into Relay Station 7 at 108 km per hour. 12 kilograms of shaped explosive detonate against the base of a primary communications mast. The structure shears, collapsing in a cascade of sparks and twisted metal. Secondary explosions ripple outward. Transformer banks erupt in blue-white arcs. A 9-kilometer blind zone opens in Moscow's outer defense perimeter. Inside the bunker, alarms scream. Relay 7 is offline, a technician shouts. We've lost telemetry feed from sectors 4, 5, and 6. Volkov's jaw tightens. Reroute through Relay 9. Sir, Relay 9 is overloaded. Data lag is 4 seconds and climbing. 4 seconds in air defense is eternity. Volkov grabs the radio. All batteries, free engagement authority. Fire on any unidentified contact within 60 kilometers. But the damage is done. The blind zone is open. And the second wave is already inside it. For 43, the fortress has its first crack. 4:45. Emergency sirens wail through the Kremlin complex. Security teams rush through marble corridors. High-value command staff receive immediate relocation orders, evacuate to hardened bunkers 12 kilometers south. 3 armored convoys form in underground garages. Engines roar. Blast doors grind open. The vehicles accelerate into the pre-dawn darkness. This is protocol. This is rehearsed. This is exposure. Ukrainian intelligence anticipated this response. When leadership moves, signatures multiply. Heat. Electromagnetic emissions. Predictable routes. For 90 seconds, high-value targets are outside hardened protection. 4:47. A new cluster of drones crosses the outer perimeter, not toward static infrastructure, but toward moving targets. These are loitering munitions, faster, smarter, equipped with thermal tracking and AI-assisted target recognition. Pantsir batteries pivot and fire. Missiles streak upward. 2 drones explode. A third loses a rotor and spirals into a parking structure. But 5 drones survive. They split into independent flight paths, each tracking a separate convoy vehicle. A Tor M2 battery activates from reserve status. It locks onto the nearest drone and fires. The missile connects. The drone disintegrates. But the other 4 drones adjust mid-flight. Their AI identifies the Tor M2 as a high-priority threat and retasks 2 units to engage it. The Tor M2 fires again. And again. Its magazine holds 8 missiles. It expends 6 in 40 seconds. 1 drone penetrates. It dives toward the lead convoy vehicle. The drone does not target the vehicle. It targets the road surface 3 meters ahead. Impact. The explosion craters the asphalt, flipping the limousine onto its side. The convoy stops. And stopped targets are stationary targets. 4:49, the third wave is inbound. Distance, 40 kilometers. Moscow's defenders have 90 seconds to reload. 4:52. The third wave does not arrive as a formation. It arrives as a flood. 62 targets light up radar screens simultaneously. They come from 8 different vectors: north, northeast, east, southwest. Some fly at 40 meters. Others at 8 meters. Some emit thermal signatures. Others reflect radar energy inconsistent with their size. The defensive network does not know which are real. Volkov's voice cuts through the chaos. All batteries, full salvo authorization. S-400 systems fire long-range interceptors. Explosions blossom across the sky. 18 drones disintegrate. Pantsir batteries engage medium-range contacts. Autocannons roar, chewing through ammunition at 5,000 rounds per minute. 12 more drones fall. But the math is irreversible. Each Pantsir battery has now fired at least 10 missiles. Reload crews scramble, but the 8-minute cycle has barely started. The autocannons are effective, but their range is limited to 4 kilometers. Anything beyond that is untouchable. And the drones know this. AI-coordinated flight logic detects gaps in defensive fire. Drones approaching depleted batteries accelerate, pushing motors to 140 kilometers per hour. 4:54. A Pantsir battery runs dry. Its autocannons click empty. Its missile tubes are cold. The crew stares at the screen as 4 drones close to 2 kilometers. No countermeasure. No jamming. No time. Impact. 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 1 drone hits a mobile radar array. Another strikes a fuel depot, triggering a secondary fireball visible for 30 kilometers. A third penetrates the outer wall of a logistics hub. Inside the bunker, Volkov's screens flood red. Every alert channel screams simultaneously. Pantsir 3, magazine empty. S-400 battery 6, 4 missiles remaining. Relay 12, offline. Volkov's voice is steady, but his eyes betray the calculation. This is saturation. We cannot stop all of them. 456. The sky above Moscow is a storm of fire and falling metal. The defenders fought perfectly. They followed. 512. The operation ends not with silence, but with smoke. Damage assessment teams move through 7 impact sites. Critical infrastructure nodes are destroyed or degraded, 2 relay stations, 1 mobile radar array, 1 fuel depot, 1 logistics hub, 1 Pantsir-S1 battery, 1 Tor M2 launcher. 0 casualties among attacking forces. All drones were expendable by design. Of 43 drones launched, 19 reached their targets. Penetration rate, 44%. Cost per successful strike, $9,421. Moscow's interceptor expenditure, 94 missiles fired. Total cost, $340 million. Cost-exchange ratio, 36,000 to 1. This is not warfare. This is economic attrition. Within 6 hours, Moscow's Ministry of Defense issues emergency redeployment orders. Air defense batteries stationed along the Ukrainian front lines receive orders to relocate, not forward, but backward, toward Moscow. The capital must be protected. The front lines must be exposed. This is the hidden victory. Not the explosions. The strategic reallocation of assets that were already stretched thin across a 1,200-kilometer front. Every S-400 battery pulled back to Moscow is one fewer battery defending Crimea, Donbass, or Belgorod. Every Pantsir unit repositioned to the capital is one fewer unit protecting supply convoys in occupied territory. The operation did not destroy Moscow's defenses. It distorted them. And distortion is permanent. Analysts worldwide study the footage. Not for tactics, but for implications. If a $179,000 drone swarm can penetrate a $9 billion air defense network, what does that mean for every capital on Earth? What happens when every nation is 800 kilometers from a potential launch site? What happens when defense becomes unsustainable and offense becomes disposable? The answers are not written in doctrine. They are written in reload times, cost spreadsheets, and the mathematics of saturation. Moscow's fortress still stands. But the illusion of invincibility is gone. And illusions, once shattered, do not rebuild.